Hey everyone, I'm Alex, and this is my critical race theory presentation. So, reading the racial identity development in Module 2 really brought to light how I had that lack of consciousness that Helms refers to in regard to my race and the privilege that I had. I grew up in an affluent, mostly white community. I didn't really see race as a thing, not until I got a little older, and I sort of had the disruption that Helms refers to. I played a lot of sports and I was exposed to a variety of different races, but they were all AAU sort of travel teams, or it was the best players from different areas. So when I was younger, from 12 to 15, 14, I saw them strictly at those sporting events. But when I got older, I would hang out with them outside of them, their families, at their homes and their communities, and I would sort of see just how different things were. And there were little things. It wasn't over the top things like their parents asking us not to go outside late at night because it's dark out, and they were worried that people were going to think we were no good. Or I remember specifically, I was at dinner at a teammate of mine's house, and his parents or someone brought up the fact that his uncle was incarcerated, and because he couldn't make bail for, I don't know if it was a number of tickets or something that was pretty minor, but he just couldn't make bail for it. And thinking back on it during the readings, really pointed out how I was sort of had unconsciousness and those sort of things, hanging out with them and seeing somewhat what life was like for them really helped develop my own racial identity. One time I experienced or witnessed institutionalism. I didn't really experience it, but I did witness it firsthand. I haven't been quiet about the fact that I struggle with substance disorder, and that struggle eventually led me to having to do some jail time. Ironically, how I had been sober for a short period of time, but either way, and being there, really, I've read about the institutional racism. I've watched documentaries, and 13 on Netflix, all this. You don't really get a grasp for it until you see it and hear firsthand for yourself just how flawed the system is. There were people who had similar offenses to me, if not more minor, compared to what I was there, who were serving more time. They couldn't get a good attorney, couldn't make bail, they're giving up a friend who didn't know their name. There was just so many things that really popped out and sort of I recognized the problem is far worse than I could have imagined. And being away, maybe I wasn't necessarily exposed to that. So being thrown in and seeing, talking to the people really just it furthered my own idea as well, because I saw just how privileged I was and how weak I was. Which I do feel guilty about. And I was in isolation of my life. It was, I think, when I was 24 old, and I didn't really. I've been sober for like 6 months when I went in, and I thought that I wanted to go on social work. I wasn't too sure. But I wanted substance abuse, but that really solidified my desire to go to social work. I sort of like the end stage highlights. I didn't have a connection to anyone. I didn't really have the and being in really full witness of how far the system was, and really develop my desire to identify with being a worker, someone who wants better society, and try to make it different. And I think that's what we all want to do with social workers. It's just using our experiences and trying to help other people the best that we can. So applying CRT, describe one action you can take to challenge power structures that perpetuate racial inequality. In reading the CRT articles that were posted, one of them, Critical Race Theory Opportunities for Application of Social Work by Kolowski, Weaver, and Constance Huggins. They talked about how CRT should be applied to social work education, and so that the providers learn more about it, are more well versed in it, and by doing that and educating them, they sort of become more committed to social justice. Um, they say specifically social workers have an ethical obligation to clients, colleagues, themselves, the profession, and broader society to challenge injustice and pursue social justice. They quoted that from the NASW from 2008. And then they go on to say CRT supports this charge by drawing attention to racial injustice in a so-called post-racial America and providing an analytic, action-oriented framework for recognizing and mitigating institutional racism. We encourage social work practitioners, educators, and researchers to embrace CRT and explore ways in which this lens may improve self-awareness, increase dialogue related to structural forces that perpetuate racial disparities and inequality. So what I took from that was, you know, the more you know, the better you are, the more equipped you become. And, I feel like people who go into social work, they want to do good. They want to sort of right societal wrongs, and learning more about how flawed systemically our system is in race will push more people to want to work and sort of change the system at a macro level. Um, so I hope it hits all the topics, and thanks for listening.